We're going live. Hey, there we go. We are live. This is Debbie, Tanya, and the Alexa Show.
Show.
We had a little technical difficulties, which left us 28 minutes
Surprise!
Surprise, but we're here. Can't make it up. All right. So we are live. We are on Facebook. We're on YouTube. We're on LinkedIn. We're on Twitter. We are everywhere.
But we're not on mine because I can't figure it out.
Connie can figure it out, but her job and Debbie's job is to create a StreamYard account and connect their account so that they can then connect it so that you can watch them everywhere. So
my homework.
That's her homework. We'll see if she can actually do it. So hello, everybody. We have started doing this live, and basically we have a podcast. It's called the Think Millions Podcast. We go live twice a week, and we share like everything. I mean, it is pretty intense what we share. We are giving you the good, the bad, and the ugly of running a business, running an agency. We run a lot of different businesses. We're involved in a lot of different industries, but we mainly talk a lot about our agency and growing an agency and service-based companies, but also products company too. We have 2 products that we're working on. And one of them just exploded, which is amazing. So we come with real experience. We're giving you the ins and the outs of what is and isn't working in our business. We're pretty funny and silly in addition to that. So I think especially Debbie with that face. I
would think the audience would have to decide that. I'm just saying.
No, it's pretty accurate. So welcome to the Think Millions podcast. We are live on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, and a bunch of channels. And today we're going to explore, and I'm pretty excited about this topic. We're going to explore strategies for unleashing your entrepreneurial creativity to drive business growth. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Dr. Alexa D'Agostino, and today we're going to be talking from idea to impact. So how do you unleash this creativity to grow your business? And as an entrepreneur, I think, and I don't know if you agree with this, Debbie and Tanya, but one of the biggest challenges that I see entrepreneurs face is turning ideas into actual impactful results. There's a lot of talk and not a lot of walk. And in fact, you can't even walk in entrepreneurship. It's really, you have to go from talking to running. And sometimes people just
crawling. They're crawling.
And to be honest, I think that is probably the number one weakness that I personally see in a lot of entrepreneurs. We talked about this actually a lot the other day. I think you and I, Tanya, about sense of implementation. And what was the word we used? Sense of urgency.
Yes. Not a lot of people have a sense of urgency. Like I literally work all day. Like my ass is on fire. Like my life literally depends on this thing getting done. Like my business is going to literally fall and crumble to pieces if I don't get my shit done. Like that is the way that I operate. But, I think that, this is a great topic because creativity and innovation are very closely tied to that because, when I look at it as like creativity, it's almost the spark that ignites innovation. And in today's market, in today's world, how fast everything's changing, you have to be creative. You have to be innovative. You have to be able to pivot quickly. Because if you're not, then you're just stagnant, right? I mean, you're going to be in the same place. So I think it all ties together, right? Like that sense of urgency, the creativity, the innovation, just all of it. Yeah. That's how I work, guys. I know it's crazy. Not everybody has to work like that.
No, I work the same way. I mean, it's like, that's why we all get along and why other partnerships have fallen apart because they didn't have the same sense of urgency. For me, I'm like, oh my God, we're down, $100 of revenue. We're like, what do we do? Like, it's like, it's all right. We have multi 6 figures a month. Like we're good, but it's, that's how you have to be. And it's like, even now, like we have such good clients. I feel very confident. No, not gonna lie, like our clients are staying with us through their contracts, but I'm still sitting there like, guys, we need 2 more leads today. We need this, we need that. And we're driving and it's almost like, and I think I'm a good entrepreneur because I have anxiety. To be honest.
Yeah, no, it's true. But with everything we do, so even just like use that as an example, right? So she's talking about driving revenue. We get creative and innovative around our ideas of how we're driving our revenue, right? Mm-hmm. Because you don't just stick with one stream of how you're getting clients, right? I mean, I hear that often also in entrepreneurship. Oh, I don't know. I've never done lead gen. It's just off a referral. What? Right? Like, you got to get creative. You got to get innovative. Like, you have to really be evolving. And I see creativity, innovation as evolution, and evolution is obviously just moving forward. So I think it's an important topic in every aspect of your business.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think like we're talking about innovation, right? So we're going to talk about there's a way to be innovative from top to bottom, and you can't be innovative if you don't it's not that it has to go in order, right? But to me, especially if you're a new entrepreneur, and I want to hear who you are in the comments and who's listening right now. So feel free to post in the comment who you are and what your business is, because we can really tailor this around your business. But what I want to know is immediately out of a new entrepreneur is like, what's your purpose? Like, what are you doing? Why are you in business? What kind of impact do you want to make in the world? Because a lot of us look at money, right? So it's actually funny. So this guy on TikTok, he was like, passion's bullshit. Do you think the guy that makes $5 billion a year in China who runs his concrete business is passionate about concrete? And like I said, yeah. I actually do. Like, you don't think you could be like passionate about concrete? Well, not me, but yeah, like to run a $5 billion company, you have to be passionate about something. Maybe it's not concrete, but maybe it's building things. And like, you know, you don't necessarily have to be passionate about. So for example, like I'm not passionate about owning an agency. In fact, I sold my agency in 2014 because I didn't want to do it anymore. And then ended up starting a new one because there was just too much business in front of me. And I'm not passionate about running an agency. In fact, I hate it. What I'm passionate about is what we're doing. Like our clients, our
it's how you use it too. It's how you're using the agency too, right? Because you're creative and innovative of how we're leveraging our agency in our equity project. So it's like, it's more than that. You've created that environment, right, for the innovation and, you know, really looking and using an agency in a different manner than just an agency. So I think that's like what you did. I mean, you got creative and innovative to then turn that into being something that's passionate and viable.
Well, so there's the vehicle, which is the company and what you offer. And then there's the projects. You have to understand what your purpose is and your impact, because that's going to impact what you do. So just because you might not be 100% passionate about the service you offer, you might be passionate about the people that you're helping. So we help a lot of nonprofits, a lot of higher education, a lot of tech companies, a lot of product companies. And we have found such great passion. Like Mighty M is one of my most fun projects. I can work on that all day long. That's how much fun I have on that project. And we're going to shows with them. And like, we're having so much fun doing it, which changes. It's not that I hate doing marketing. I love marketing. I'm obsessed with marketing. I just didn't love running an agency, doing stuff for clients that I wasn't passionate about.
Yeah.
I think what you're passionate about is scaling and building brands and businesses.
Yes. Results. That's what I'm passionate about.
I mean, it's right over. It's on our logo right here. We build $1 million
brands. Yes, we do.
And it's even not even brand campaigns. I mean, because we're working right now for companies that are worth $500 million, right? So it's not even we're even beyond brands. It's just campaigns, really. But you know, I think so. To me, to be innovative, to be creative in what you're doing. So I think we were creative. I said, and I remember talking to you, Tanya, and Dad at the time, and I'm like, but I really don't want another agency. And you guys were like, dude, you have so much business in front of you. It's how you were doing it. You have to rethink. You're really good at what you do. You love marketing. When you go work for other companies, you love what you do. It wasn't that you ran an agency. It was that you had the wrong clients. And that was like that moment where that bell went off, that light bulb. Yeah. The light bulb went off. The bell again. That one was Steph. She's going to have I apparently can't get anything right when it comes to phrases. Good times. Anyway, so, you know, that was when the bell went off, that I finally was like, ding, ding, ding. Like, yeah, see, it is a bell. Like, oh my goodness. And now I can't stop laughing. So in my opinion, that's the first thing. It's like, you've got to understand your passion. You've got to understand what impact you're trying to make. Because without that, it's really difficult to be creative and unleash that creativity for business growth when you don't even know what your purpose is.
Yeah, and I think, when you talk about knowing your purpose as a CEO, right, or head of a company, then you got to take it one step further, right? So we're talking about creativity, innovation. You got to then bring that into the culture and environment, right, of your team. Like, you want to foster that creative, innovative environment. I mean, we're very transparent with our team, right? We share with them everything, right? We share with them where we are and our revenue and our goals, and we make them feel a part of it. And I think that really creates an environment for ideas to flourish and helps to break down any of like the soils, that would come in the way of a team being encouraged, right? And it also breaks those barriers of fear, right? And allows the team to also feel like they could take a little risk in putting in their creativity and thoughts and innovation. And I think that helps, the interior part of your company grow too. So I think it's a great point.
Yeah. So the other thing is, I think what makes the three of us really good is we're always asking questions, sometimes too many questions, but I think it's important. Asking questions and questioning things and challenging assumptions and challenging the status quo and being open to new ideas is really important. And so a perfect example, last week, Tanya came up with a really good idea.
I did.
Yeah, you did. She came up with a really good idea, and we talked through it. And I'm like, wow, that's actually a really good idea, Tanya. I think we should do that. And so it had to do with staffing. And I didn't think about it that way. And so her coming in and saying, let's try it. We all were like, yeah, this is a good thing to try. So let's give it a 4-week test and see.
Try it. But if it doesn't work, it was Alexa's idea.
Well, that's typically what happens. So
that's what I'm here for. Now I'm the one with the bad ideas. So I'll be that. But you have to be that way, right? Like, I mean, you get stale otherwise. You have to always kind of shake it up and look at it a different way. And the cool thing too is the way that we're all in different segments of the business. We're in all the segments, but we're in different segments, and like how each of us sees it and experiences it is different. So it keeps it fresh. I think that fresh set of eyes on things.
Yeah, I think it's important. Just a continuous environment of learning and improving, right? And just willing to adapt and evolve, which we are. And I think it's really important.
That's why they call it growing pains. Like, we evolve fast.
Literally.
We don't have the year for the wings to sprout. They're just like,
no. We're like, oh, your wings don't work. You're gone.
Where did I find you two? Oh my God.
Oh gosh, Tanya, if she was on our work sessions,
oh my gosh. Me and Deb have the best work sessions, which we harness creativity and innovations during work sessions. That's another good point.
That's a good point.
Some people work good.
But that's why you can't do business by yourself.
Right.
No, right?
Not.
But we've also had other people where we've done work sessions and we wanted to like, I'm not going to say what I'm going to say because it's inappropriate, but like you have to have the right people that you have synergy with. And it's not a bad thing. I'm not saying bad things about other people, but you have to have a synergy that works. Like to the point where like Deb just knows I'm annoyed by looking at my face. Like she's like, are you annoyed now? Like literally. And I'm like, yeah.
And I may or may not have chuckled a little when you said,
you did. You're an asshole. But the point is, all right, okay. Right. The point though is like you have to have the right people and to have that synergy. But that's where a coach can come in handy. And so I actually like laid into some of our students yesterday. I'm like, some of you run agencies. We're running a multi-million-dollar agency and you're not jumping on these calls. I see some of you. We literally have a course where we have given every little tactic on how we make millions of dollars. And some of you haven't even gone in and logged in. Like, you have all this information in front of you because people are fucking lazy. They basically want us to hand it all over to you.
Yep.
No, you got to do the work. You have to learn. I'm not going to fish for you. Learn how to fish yourself. I'm giving you the rod. I'm telling you exactly where to fish. I'm telling you exactly how to throw the whatever in there. I'm telling you exactly what to do. But if you don't show up, if you don't go get the rod, if you don't watch the tutorials on how I tell you to do it, then you're not going to ever catch the fish. And that's what's happening with some of our students. They have these opportunities to jump on with us and to ask questions, to basically have us brainstorm with us or them, and they don't take advantage of it. Well, this is why your business isn't working.
This is a really good point too, because when I do the mindset calls, I really should call that out. Like your absence indicates where your mindset is. You're not believing in yourself that you can execute on the ideas. You're not even investing in figuring it out.
Accountability. That's a first step. This is talking about innovation and creativity.
Write me and ask me for notes from my last group session.
No, show up.
Notes? You should have been taking notes. I'm not taking notes for you.
Like, unbelievable. But this is the thing, right? So we talk about from idea to impact. You can't go from idea to impact if you don't do the work. And people just want it in front of them. No, you've got to do the work yourself to get there. You can't even be creative if you're not doing the simple things. To me, the number one thing is holding yourself accountable. We've put a system in place to not only hold you accountable of the things you have to do, 3 things a day. That's all you have to do. And in yesterday's post, I don't know if you noticed, but I put 3 things that I did. And I said, and you'll notice that what's not including this is X, Y, and Z and all the other stuff I did. But I made sure I got 3 things done, because guess what? Those are revenue generating things. You're doing the wrong things. You're not able to even get to business growth because you're literally doing the wrong things to grow your business.
I'm glad you pointed that out, because when I see creativity, unleashing creativity in the title, I can picture some of our students going, I'm going to get creative with TikTok reels or Instagram posts, and they think that's going to do it. Like, I think people hide in social media thinking that's the answer for generating revenue a lot of times, and it's not. And they can go down rabbit holes and get lost.
Well, I think another part is risk taking, right? So some people don't have the ability to take risk because they need that income to survive, which I get. But once you get to a certain point where, hey, okay, instead of making 60,000 off of your business, maybe you stay, at 50 and you take that 10K and you be creative and you try different things. So for example, we took a huge risk hiring a new lead gen person, twice actually several times. I think like the first 5 people we hired all sucked. And so we hired somebody, it didn't work out. And we finally just hired a 6th person basically. And he's amazing, right? This person's incredible. And it took us, I don't even know how much money we spent on trying to find the right lead gen specialist, but it took 2 years to finally find somebody that's phenomenal and good. But it was a huge risk because this person was more expensive than we would normally spend. But we wanted to test it out. And so far, knock on wood, I'll let you know if this ever turns, because we've said this before in the past. But so far it's good, right? But we took that risk to grow our company, right? So we're at the point where, okay, you know what, 15 grand, whatever, we could take that risk, right? Where other companies can't, but you could take little risks. You can, put small, $200 a month ads out and see what you get. Like you can, you could be more risky than you think early on in running a business, in my opinion.
That's actually a great point. And that's probably something.
I always have good points. I always do. Come on.
Well, yeah, but I mean, this one got me because it's something that I didn't do a good job of. And that's something you and I have talked about. Like, I didn't do a good job of that. And you're right. Like with opportunities like ads for $200, I mean, that's just anymore, back in the days, you couldn't do that. So now you really can. It is true. There's all kinds of things you could try. So if revenue's not coming in, you got to keep trying different things. You got to experiment.
You got to get creative.
You
got to get creative.
Well, we're always rechecking in on our plan. We're always checking in. Like, I mean,
yeah. And that's like the beauty, like Alexa was mentioning, like, we are all separate individuals with different backgrounds, different perspectives, different skill sets. We work in different parts of the company. And that's why, if you're a solopreneur now and you're able to grow a team, it's important to have a team that already has been part of a team, that already has been where you want to go, so that you can learn from other people's mistakes, right? We've made so many, right? If you're listening out there and you want to know the next good steps to take, come to us, because we made them. But that's the only way you're going to succeed, because without the risk, you're not going to get the reward. We've already taken those. Mm-hmm. So I think it's important. And then as you're building out your team, and you think about, what you were mentioning, like what cultivates that creativity, and that innovation, it's understanding and knowing the different personality types, right? And who you work well with, and et cetera. So I think it's an important point. It's needed.
Yeah. It's like doubly important for us because we're in a creative business. Like we literally have to be creative to earn money. Yeah. So
I'll be right back.
Yeah. So, the other thing is you have to try to find inspiration and ideas. And a lot of times the biggest mistakes people make is they go right to their industry. And the problem with that, this is why I was very successful in higher education, for example, because I came in as an entrepreneur in higher ed. I'm like, what is this dinosaur of an industry? I'm like, everybody's doing things that are like 20 years old, and they hire these crazy companies that sell them these lists and this, and like, it's just insane. And they're like, I don't want to call the companies scammers. Like, they're not scammers, but like most of it doesn't work. Let's be honest. And they're all doing the same thing. They're all fishing in the same pond. So they all hire the same companies. Well, how do you differentiate yourself if you're literally hiring all the same companies that all the other institutes are hiring? Like, it's stupid. So I came in and I'm like, I'm going to disrupt this shit. Right. And I'm like, I'm going to do everything different. And that's what made me really good in higher education. I never missed an enrollment deadline, like ever, or goal.
Wow.
And in my whole career, and in fact, exceeded every single one of them. And the reason why is because I thought about things differently. I thought about things as relationships, customer relations, building long-term relationships. I was thinking like 3 years down the line. I wasn't thinking about the next year. I was thinking, hey, I'm going to build a 3-year relationship with these kids. So by the time 2, 3, 4 years happen, I had a whole pipeline already built of people I had great relationships with. And so these are the types of things that you have to think about. Like, I had put a CRM in before higher ed even knew what a CRM was, right? So perfect example. So staying ahead of the curve is really important. But I was looking outside the industry. I'm like, okay, what do they do in the insurance agency like industry, right? Like, for example, right? How do they collect their leads, build these relationships? So I was going to other industries that were successful and saying, what are they doing and what can I take and bring into what I'm doing, right? So that I think is also really important is that as well.
Yeah, I think if you don't have your eye on that from the start, you're wasting time. Like, you took time to build those relationships and you kind of cultivate it all along. And every day that goes by that you're not doing that is a day later you're starting that. So I do think it's important to have your eye on that all the way along. And I think that's something that gets dropped is the power of, because if your churn rate is like you're constantly speaking to new people only, that's a lot of resource spent on trying to, build sustainable revenue, cash flow.
And
I got it in.
Yeah, cash flow. I knew you were. And it's about coming up with unique solutions, right? I mean, here's the thing. In today's world, there's so many solutions out there. It could be so confusing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many options, but that turns back to really knowing your organization, knowing the way you tick, right? And the things that really fit your business. And she came up with an innovative solution, right? For the business. And that's one way to be innovative, right? Is to look for unique and different solutions that other people aren't using. Because really, when you think about your positioning as a company, right? I mean, it better positions you, right, against everyone else and your competitors.
Yeah.
It's important.
Yeah, it's such a crowded space everywhere, all the time. That's what basically the internet and social media has done. It's kind of been the great equalizer, and it's put everybody on the same platform with the same microphone. Yeah. So breaking through all that is tough. I think innovation is now just like, it's no longer a tax on your business. It's a requirement. It's a prereq. You have to be agile. You have to be evolving. You got to pay attention to the trends. You got to see what's going on.
You also have to not waste time. Like, part of one of my biggest pet peeves and why sometimes things don't work out is when we waste time. And like, it's my biggest pet peeve. It's like, I hate to repeat myself. And part of it is like, it's one, if you're in a meeting and you don't take proper notes or you're not properly listening and you miss things, like, it wastes everybody's time. But then you also do the wrong work and that wastes the team's time. It's inefficient. And resources. But also, like, the biggest problem I have is when it's like you're wasting everyone. And I'm not saying my time is so precious that I can't waste any time, but
it is.
all of our time is precious,
Yeah.
right? And if we're going to scale and be the company we want to be, then you have to be so efficient with your time. And people just waste time. I mean, so many people like scroll on social media and this. I'm like, who the hell cares what you're like? My TikTok's going viral and I'm just walking outside. Like, it doesn't matter.
But this comes down to cash flow, right? It comes down to enhancing profitability, right? So by developing more efficient, effective, cost-effective ways of operating, and even innovative ways, and we're talking about the markets are always changing, but so are our customers' needs, right? So yes, like we're looking internally and externally for solutions for ourselves, but it's also really, understanding and paying attention to our customers' evolving needs and coming up with unique solutions. Like we did today on a call, right? We're offering just a really cool, unique solution for language changing over the course of many different platforms, right? So these are just things that, what you could bring innovation, creativity into, your customer service and what you're putting out there as well to enhance profitability too. So I think you
bring up a good point.
Yeah.
You bring up a good point about
I bring up good points.
You always bring up good points. You got to focus on your customer. Like how many times, like example, we hired somebody in December to do something for us. And the person was so worried about continuing to do lead gen for other clients that like completely shit the bed on what he was supposed to do for us. And we didn't rehire that person. In fact, that person owes us money still. Deb.
Awful.
Person owes us money because there was a guarantee back. This is why I don't do guarantees, because people are full of crap. They just take your money and they run. This is exactly what happened. And what am I going to do? Sue the person for $3,000? Like, no, it's not worth my time. So, and they know that. Like, they know you're not going to come after them. Now, what we could do is go to a cancellation and actually fight it on a credit card, which actually is a good idea. We should do that. I don't know why I didn't think of that. Let's just do that. Good idea. But the point here and why I'm sharing this is like,
take notes, Deb.
Right? Money. We need more cash flow. There you go. Right. But you have to focus on your customer. Like we almost to the point where like we stopped taking coaching clients because we had grown our agency so much where we jacked the price up. We're like, to work with us now, it's $5,000 because we just don't have the time. And that's a reality. And for it to be worth our time, you have to pay us to do it. We're very good at what we do. And that's just a reality. And so for us, we rather take less people and charge more. I mean, we were charging way less than what we're charging now. We're charging 4, 5, 6 times the price that we were even 2 years ago because we have more results. We have people who have had success and we've gotten busier, but we didn't want to flop on our agency clients either. So that's why we said we're not even going to bother here right now because otherwise we're going to fail and we don't want to fail.
Yeah, I think creativity and innovation within your business is important if, and it depends obviously the stage you're at, but like, let's think about like the overall end goal, right? I mean, if you're looking to eventually exit your business, right? Or you're looking to attract an investor in your business, an investor is not going to be super impressed with a business that's doing the same thing as everyone else, right? They want to see that innovation in the entrepreneurship and the innovative ideas and the solutions and the potential of this being a solution that's going to disrupt the market. So it's important to know also your long-term and where you want to be, right? Like, are you looking for investors? Are you looking to eventually exit? And if you are, then you have to cultivate this in your business. You have to have this innovation.
Yeah. And I think that, for all of you, and to your point, like this culture of innovation, part of it is staying agile and making sure that you understand that you have to not only be willing to take risks and have a team that's willing to take risks and to bring up ideas, but you also have to be able to pivot and adapt your business when needed. Business is changing so rapidly now. It is so important to stay on your toes. I mean, we've pivoted. I don't even know how many times.
I'm like just really good at pivoting.
It's literally to the point where like we've had to pivot so many different times, right? And then I think the last thing to end on this is you got to keep learning. And this is why coaching is important. It's why being in a community is important. And if you're not using the resources you have, shame on you. Shame on you. It's not, we're so quick to blame a coach or a program when look in the mirror. It 9 out of 10 times is probably you.
Oh yeah.
That's a reality.
Yeah. So ask yourself, like, are you using your creativity? Are you cultivating innovation into your business? You know, all the things that we had mentioned. And if the answer is no, that's okay. But if you don't know how to cultivate it, then can ask for the help. You know, we're here to help.
Yeah. So that's what we have for you today. If you enjoyed this, you can get more episodes at thinkmillions.com. We have all of our episodes there. If you enjoyed this, please share this, like this, comment on this, hit the subscription button in our podcast. We're on Spotify. We're on Apple, pretty much across the board. And if you really, really enjoyed this and got value out of it, please give us a 5-star review. Those reviews is what keeps us going. And it makes us happy. Are you happy or not? I'm happy. All right.
Right.
Yeah. So thank you, Tanya and Debbie, and we will see you all next week. That was weird. I don't know why I did that. Bye.